to the Wager Makers Podcast with Web and Smitt.
Brick by brick, baby. I'm freaking out, Web.
I was told there'd be no man. Stupidity's going to be an asset. What a bunch of crybabies.
Hello, my name is Steve Smith, and this is Rob Weber. Say hey, Web.
Hello. What's up, Smith?
What's up, Web? I'm Smith. That's Web, and we are the Wager Makers. Thank you all for joining us. Big show today. This is it, man. We handing out $500 to whoever out there. If we get more listeners, more followers, more people buying our swag, more people sending us money, more sponsors down the road, maybe we'll have $5,000.
That's right. 50 grand, baby. That's the goal.
Free to enter. How can you
free
go
money,
wrong?
baby. Free money.
If any pool there ever was, anybody can win. Chris Gargiulo won this pool last year. If there was ever a poster child for anybody can win, Chris Gargiulo is the poster child for anybody can win this tournament.
Free $500 lottery. That's absolutely right. And it's like literally just take a couple darts, throw it at whatever. There's your picks.
Yep. So, all right, Web, we're going to get right into the bracket. We're real quick. I didn't even look. I don't know. Number 20. This is 110. The weird thing about this being 120 is I think we started at Emmett Smith. I think we started this thing at Emmett Smith at 22. So we're getting close to going all the way around full circle.
Crazy. Unbelievable.
So, is there number 20 that stands out in your head offhand?
Barry Sanders and Billy Sims were number 20 for me. Billy Sims was great back in the day. That's when I first started really getting into, from Oklahoma, really getting into college football. And then obviously, Barry Sanders in the pros was tremendous. Not as good as Emmitt Smith, but still very, very good. So.
Oh, come on, man. And if Barry Sanders played for those Dallas Cowboy teams, you might have 10 Super Bowl rings on yourself. I love Emmitt. I love Emmitt, but Barry Sanders, one of the best to ever tote the rock. Certainly the most exciting back to ever tote the rock.
One of the best, for sure.
I love Billy Sims too, though. Oklahoma, right? That was back when they were running like triple option looking shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I saw a documentary not that long ago about Marcus Dupree, who's another Oklahoma running back, about the same era, big, strong, fast, game breaking, all that kind of stuff, but didn't do too much in the pros, I don't think. But
I think they both got hurt. I remember Billy Sims was on a cover of Sports Illustrated or something back in the day when Sports Illustrated was a big deal.
Right. Webb, it's bracket week. Sunday brackets. Anybody's thinking about brackets all week long watching college hoops. There's only one man in the world that could take the top headline from ESPN away from the brackets. One quarterback can make a statement on Sunday, and all of a sudden he takes over the brackets. Webb, Kirk Cousins signed 1 year, $35 million contract. This man has the best agent in all of sports.
I was very happy when Cousins, I laughed, my man Belfi, I felt bad for him when Cousins went from the Redskins, well, they were the Redskins at that point, Washington to Minnesota. And now I don't know what they're just doubling down on mediocrity. I don't understand. But listen, the man's a genius. The man or someone I thought he was no good. I wasn't really a fan of his, but now I think I'm probably a huge fan. The dude has made, I saw something. You said you saw 161. I saw Warren Sapp put something out there, and he said he's 59, 59, and 2. First of all, I don't know how he has 2 ties, but that's beside the point.
He couldn't get it done in OT. Get it done in
so he's 59, 59, and 2. Exactly 500. And he's made 200, well, either between, depending on who you see, 161 or $200 million.
Right. It's so funny. In the afternoon, I guess it was Saturday afternoon, maybe it was Sunday, they came out with that news across the ticker. And it said Kirk Cousins signs another 1 year, $35 million contract. And right away I'm like, this dude has made so much because he was like franchised a few times.
Right.
This is what happens to you if you just show up to work. You don't have to be a superstar. And this same thing happens to me at the bars, Web. Some people they're not superstars, but they show up. They show up when you need them, and they're here. Next thing you know, they're here 5 years doing a thing, and you're like, "How's this guy still hanging around here? He's not really making us that much better, but he's here. He's here when we need a guy.
Reliable, yeah.
He just shows up. I don't remember Kirk Cousins ever missing a season, being hurt or anything. I'm sure he's been injured, missed a game here and there and stuff. But off the top of my head, he's always available. He's always there. And like you said, the first thing that Saturday afternoon that when I saw it, I was like, I don't usually Google stats and player earnings and stuff like that. And I came up with that it was like 160, 170 million. But you showed me a tweet later on the day. Somebody said it was like 200 and something million.
Lawrence Sapp, yeah, that's what it came out. It said he's made. I don't know. Maybe your thing didn't see this year's deal. Maybe I don't know. Whatever.
Either way.
Right. Let's call it 160. That is a fucking. That is a haul. And this dude was drafted, if you remember, RG3 was the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have even been the number 1 pick in the draft, but they picked him first. He was top 2 or 3, whatever it was. And Kirk Cousins was a 3rd or 4th round pick in the same draft. Now, RG3's been out of the league. Same team. Correct. Right. He's been out of the league 2 or 3 years now.
RG3 might have played legit 3 years or something like that. He might have been around a backup here and there, and yeah, I think he was a backup at maybe Baltimore, not that long ago.
But yeah, a couple years. He's been out. At least I know last year he was doing some stuff for one of like Fox Sports, whatever it was. So anyway, so let's say this is his 2nd year. Kirk Cousins is still clocking guaranteed money, and RG3 is,
I think I see RG3 like on the panel at the college football, like the offbeat college football pregame show, not like game day or anything like that, but the one you see on Fox Sports News.
Right. We're somewhere down on the dial. Right. It's not a single digit number. You know what I mean? It's not or whatever ESPN even is. It's like
some shit online or something he's doing.
Right. So he's, whatever he's making, still making a great living.
RG3 is streaming pregame shows.
Right. And Kirk Cousins is clocking, guaranteed, 8-figure contracts. Again, a 3rd one.
Right. 4th, and the thing about showing up, you keep showing up. Like, so usually when you franchise, guys don't like that 1-year deal shit. I don't want no 1-year deal because if I get hurt, I sit out, I'm done. Right. It's all done. If you show up to work every year, 30 million this year, 30 million this year, 30 million. I mean, it's like, damn, this dude's been banking. And plus he's the quarterback in cities. He's getting commercial, even if he's not the number 1. He's the number 1 of that city. He's the big fish in a little pond in Minnesota or whatever he's got.
Minnesota, just do a car for Mercedes. There's a free Mercedes. Do a commercial for whatever, and here's that.
Right. So good stuff. I mean, good for him. I mean, but anyway, we jest. The big news, obviously, Sunday about the NFL was Tom Brady. I guess life at home sometimes is just not what it's cracked up to be.
That's right. Marriages and all, no matter who your wife is or how we all love our kids, right? We all, just, whoa, what do you mean? I got daycare? I got to take them to school? Wait, what? All right, hold on. Let's reevaluate this.
One of my wife's favorite quotes is something like, for everybody you think is a princess, somebody's like tired of her shit or something.
Right,
so
no matter. It's always says somebody's tired of sleeping with somebody else.
Right. Sorry, Giselle.
Right.
But so I mean, but hey, look, Tom Brady is still on the top of his game. When he left, it was kind of like, well, it's just funny. He's done so much. He's like, I got some unfinished business to do. 7 Super Bowl rings. Some MVPs, all this other stuff. He finally left Bill Belichick, won the Super Bowl the next year, and still feels like but hey, that's what makes great dudes great. They got that hunger, but he there's no reason for him to give it up. When Drew Brees gave it up, his fucking arm, he couldn't throw 10 yards down the field. Tom Brady's still winning football games, winning football.
Literally, I mean, he was arguably the MVP of the league. I mean, he was right there.
And really, when he stepped off the field, the last time he brought his team back and tied up that game. It wasn't until the Rams got the ball back and went down the field and they let Cooper Kupp get. But after a terrible start, Brady there was a big comeback. The Brady style.
Way. Absolutely.
Yep. So
absolutely.
Anyway, good for him. Good for Kirk Cousins. But we move on. Webb. Let's just talk real quick about some NBA. I just a quirky NBA thing I saw yesterday. Right. So we've seen Kyrie refuses to get the shot. That's on him. Whatever. I'm not going to go down that road.
Right. That's the overall.
But we've talked a lot about the rules and the COVID rules. First of all, we took a break after the Super Bowl #1, and I wanted to kill the NFL. All of a sudden, when the playoffs started in the NFL, they stopped testing for COVID.
Yeah,
Saints had a game, missed the playoffs by 1 game. They had 1 game where they had 20-something players out and had to play the game. All of a sudden, you make the playoffs, they don't test for the COVID.
No, COVID now.
COVID's gone. This is the playoffs now, buddy. Big time. There's no COVID. We're not missing. We're not sitting out superstars in a postseason.
Nope.
So I guess at the Barclays Center, you to be a player, you have to.
Well, I think it's New York. I guess, city or whatever that, I guess that concludes
Yeah.
the 5 boroughs, I guess, right? Or whatever. Not upstate New York, I guess, or whatever. So New York, those 5 boroughs.
New York City.
You have to be, there was or is a either mask or vaccination mandate, right? I guess is what it is. So he could play away games, but in cities that didn't have the mandate, some other cities had it as well, or states rather. So he couldn't play at home games. And then I guess, but what happened now? How
I think what the NBA is still saying, for some reason, the NBA is still not letting him play where the players can't play in that situation. But the ban has been lifted for fans. So Kyrie shows up at the game Kyrie can go to the game at the Barclays Center and sit as a fan behind the team, but can't play in the stadium.
Yeah, that is just that's a head scratch. Like, how can they get into the arena? Like, I thought it was just a state thing. Like, he couldn't go to work. I don't know. That's unbelievable.
I don't even understand how. How can not just heads come together and say, you know what, we have a hole in our rules here somewhere, whether it's the NBA rules or the state rules or the local city rules of Brooklyn, whatever, or arena rule, the company that owns the whatever. Why can't they all just get together and say, listen, there's a blind spot here in our rules that
it can't be the state. It can't be the state or the arena, right? Or else he wouldn't be allowed in the arena or even there. Right. So it's got to be that. That's bizarre.
So is it an NBA rule now?
I guess it's a bizarre.
Right. So Kyrie watches the game as a fan, still without a mask, without a vaccine.
Right.
Can't play at the games at that stadium. It's ridiculous.
And the other night he scored 50 points. Like the night.
Well, he should have fresh legs all the time. He plays half the games.
Right, well, that's right.
All right.
Not the fan of Kyrie, but it's just that's bizarre. That's ridiculous.
Right. So let's get into the brackets, Webb. I wanted to ask you a couple of things. I've done it different ways over the past, and we've been doing this for a long time. I got certain rules that I go with when I'm doing my brackets. Do you like pick out a team that you think is going to win all and build your bracket that way? Or do you start from scratch from the 64, whatever it is, and kind of move everybody a certain way? Or does it depend on the year? Or do you have a basic philosophy? I can tell you a few rules of thumb that I use, but you can start.
This year I don't really have a favorite. Some years I'll just take that team and bang, 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 put them in the Final Four. Right. I didn't do that this year. I really don't have a rule of thumb. I just kind of do what I did this year. I just went bracket by bracket. I did have some teams that I thought in my mind when I started, but how the brackets shook out, they didn't get to where I thought they were going to get just based on their draw. So I changed it a little bit. It's not, my Final Four is not what I thought was going to be prior to today. Put it like that.
Right.
It's based on the brackets.
Right. I can tell you, I got a few rules, but I usually like to watch, and I've talked about it last week. I like to watch the conference tournaments. I like to see how they develop. But man, it seemed like every team I kind of had my eye on to win it all the way got bounced early in these conference tournaments. I like Baylor. They got some injuries, knocked out in the first round of the conference tournament.
They won last year. They were lower on my list anyway, and I've seen them a couple. We've had them several times.
Right. Not as good this year. Not as good this year as last year.
It's hard. I mean, I get it's really hard to repeat, but they're not the same team. It's not the same team.
Right. We've seen Illinois, but last year that was kind of my team, so I was hoping they'd do something. They got knocked out early in the tournament. Watching Purdue, but to be honest, the Big Ten, Purdue got knocked off by Iowa. The Big Ten to me had kind of a down year. Michigan State is not the team that they've been in the past. Ohio State wasn't very good. I think Michigan's probably a decent team. But Purdue, but when I watch Purdue, dude, they just don't seem as athletic as when I watch some of these like SEC teams and some of the other teams in some other conferences. The Iowas and the Purdues, I could see them. That was the Big Ten championship, and when I watched the Tennessee and the Kentucky and the Auburns of the SEC, they just seem so much more athletic, and that doesn't always mean something in basketball. But obviously that turned me off of some of those teams. I had a hard time picking. I usually like to do a team that does good in the conference tournament, so I can talk a little bit about that moving forward. I usually in the brackets, I like to get a team that I know is going to win, and then I run them out, and then we'll see how the rest of the lie. But this was really one I had to see how it played out. So, and I went back and forth yesterday. I had a team winning it all, and then late last night I switched the team winning it all. But we can talk about that. So, I usually don't give Arizona, very good team this year. If you watch them, very good. But I'm usually not the big fan of the Pac 10 con,
Pac-12,
Pac-12,
whatever.
Pac-10,
But how
whatever it
many
is
teams? They
nowadays.
only have a couple of teams in.
Well, they got USC, UCLA,
Right. Arizona, and then
and
maybe one more.
maybe another.
Not
maybe
even,
another.
maybe.
Right. So anyway, but I don't usually have them getting knocked out because it's a Pac-10 team or what, Pac-12 team. Anyway, I guess we can just start writing the brackets if you want. We can, and as we go, we can say maybe why we did some things.
Yeah.
We'll go from there. So let me see if I can pull up my bracket here. And people, get in. If you're not sure with the link, reach out to us. I put it on the Facebook. I sent it out in an email. It's going to be in the link of this podcast on YouTube and everywhere else. It'll be in there. Webb, let's start in the East. We'll start from the top.
East, okay.
You can just start. Or wherever.
That's
you got.
fine. So we got, this is Carolina's bracket. We got Baylor and Norfolk. That's easy. Baylor's going to win that one. USC Marquette. UNC is going to win that game. Then we got the 5 and 12. 12s do beat 5s, but the play-in game, I don't know who. I don't have any information that's going to be. I don't think it matters. St. Mary's is a good team. They're going to win that game. UCLA is going to beat Akron. These are two. There's not too much drama, I don't think. Maybe Virginia Tech. I did pick VTech.
I took Virginia Tech beating Texas in the first
they're
round. I've not been impressed with Texas this year.
No, me neither. So that's maybe my biggest upset here so far. Purdue, I like Purdue. I saw them live way back when. They do. I would disagree on some of your athleticness. They got Ivy and they got a little point guard and they got like a Russian dude, so that they can play.
And they had the giant 7-footer.
They got two guys.
They got another.
Yeah, he's good. And they got another guy. Murray State is crazy. I think they're like 33-2 or 33-4. That's John Morant's old team. I do like them. I picked them. And then Kentucky's going to slaughter St. Peter's.
Yep. Okay, so let's move on. Same bracket. Just I have all the same. I think I have San Francisco beating Murray State just to have a little 10-7 action on there, something like that. But anyway, we go right back to the top where you got Baylor facing UNC.
I'm going with UNC there, just based off of
the homer. All right, it didn't take long to get to the homer, but go ahead.
No, it's not. Just Baylor. First of all, they won last year and they're injured. They're not. It's a different team. They haven't played. That's one of the teams I've watched a lot. UNC can play. It seems like that they're motivated. They can beat the good teams, and they are up and down. I think they'll be motivated at this point. UCLA and St. Mary's. I'm going to go with St. Mary's in that one. UCLA had a long run last year. They didn't get it done as of this year. They're a 4 seed, but again, the Pac-10 doesn't really impress me. Purdue and VTech. I'm a big Purdue fan, so I'm going with them. And then Murray State, that's a tough draw for them. If anybody but Kentucky, I might have them winning that game, but I got Kentucky winning that game.
Right, is Murray State in Kentucky? I think I was watching something yesterday, and they said, like, this might be a team that could be tough for Kentucky because these kids it's one of those deals where the kids are really going to be up for that game.
Yep.
And anyway, I got the same. I have Baylor beating UNC. I did have UCLA beating, is that St. Mary's?
Yes.
Yeah. And then I had UCLA moving on. I thought they went deep into the tournament last year. They're tested. I have Purdue beating Virginia Tech, and I have Kentucky moving on. So then we got up top. I have Baylor UCLA, and I guess you have Baylor UNC. Or no, you have UNC.
St. Mary's. I got UNC winning that game. St. Mary's struggling along. Then I got Purdue. Who's that? Purdue VTech, or is it
Purdue and UK?
Purdue and UK. This is a tough one. Whoever wins this game is going to go to the Final Four. But I did take Purdue just because I think there's so much hype on Kentucky. So I did take Purdue to win this game.
Yep. So I have Baylor moving on to that. I guess that's the final 8. In the Purdue UK matchup, I was very disappointed that both of these teams are in the same section over here.
That's one of, like I was mentioning earlier. Yeah.
I wanted New Orleans to get the best of possible worlds. I know just in past, nobody travels for hoops like Kentucky does. I've been at a Final Four here with them, and even SEC championship tournaments were here at times when I've been here, and nobody travels like them. And obviously, Big Ten teams like Purdue travel like crazy.
Well, when I was down there, down with you, when last time Carolina was in the Final Four, they lost to Kentucky in the 4, and they were everywhere. So they travel crazy. Even on the plane coming from up here, there was a bunch of Kentucky fans.
Right.
And I was at Purdue, like I said, before Thanksgiving, and they had a huge following up in Mohegan Sun, to the point where they had like a big table like outside, like it was crazy. And I was like, dude, it's
right.
preseason. Relax yourself,
Right. Right.
So yeah, I would have had these two, as I mentioned, this bracket didn't break out right. I would have had Kentucky if it was any other bracket than this one.
All right. So maybe we can wait till the final four picks till after we get we can just go. I have Purdue. I have Kentucky beating Purdue and then Kentucky beating Baylor at that point to move on to my final four.
All right. So I have Purdue beating Kentucky and then Purdue beating Carolina to get to the final four. So
you've got Purdue going out of the
East. Correct.
Yep.
That's
cool.
correct.
And I have Kentucky. All right, let's move it on down.
That to me that's a photo finish right there between those two.
I would have loved to have both of these teams in the final four, but it just can't happen.
Agreed.
Let's go to the West.
West. All right, I'm going to start with Gonzaga. Obviously, they're going to smoke the 16, Georgia State. Boise, Memphis is interesting. Memphis is disappointing me. They seem every year like they'll get a guy, a real good recruit, and some shit will happen. He'll reclassify or some shit will leave. I'm not sure that, what Penny can do. Penny Hardaway's the head coach, obviously, what he can do X and O's wise, but he's a hell of a recruiter. Having said all that, Boise State is just a difficult matchup for them. I just took Boise State just for no real reason, and I don't think anything. New Mexico State is very talented. I took them over Connecticut. I'm not sure what Connecticut's doing. I'm not the biggest Danny Hurley fan. Arkansas, I was disappointed that they were in the bracket here. I would have had them going much farther, but I got them beating whoever that is. Is that Vermont, I guess?
Yep, I think so.
The Catamounts are tough. They are tough in
listen to this guy. Catamounts. He busts out the Catamounts. This guy knows his shit.
Alabama, I'm a little weary of. I don't know. The playing game, they could lose. This is going to be like who? Notre Dame or somebody maybe? That was an interesting Rutgers.
Yeah, well,
maybe.
it's going to be funny. Notre Dame plays Rutgers. I was wondering what your thoughts on that game. Rutgers I like Rutgers this year.
Rutgers plays the good teams real well, and so that's going to be tough. But I do think Notre Dame has too much firepower. Anyways, I did pick Bama, but that's an iffy one. Texas Tech, I do like. They'll beat Montana State. I got Davidson beating Michigan State. I'm not sure what's going on with Izzo here in these past 3 or 4 years. It seems like he hasn't done too much. I don't know what's going on with him. But I think Davidson's always good. That coach's been there forever, and they're always quality. And Michigan State's up and down. And I did want the 10 beating the 7. And then I took Duke, obviously, over Cal State Fullerton. I think they were the 15th seed, or they were picked 15th. They were not supposed to win. That's just like one of those.
Right. They got in from the tournament or whatever.
Yeah, and then they were. Their record was way below 500. They're going to get smashed.
Right. So I got Gonzaga, but I took Memphis in that other game. I thought they did a pretty good job in their conference tournament. They got blown out by Houston, though, in that last game. I did take UConn. General rule, I go with my old school Big East teams. When in doubt, I go with the old school Big East. I took Arkansas. I took Alabama and Texas Tech, and I did take Davidson over Michigan State as well. Yep. But I think the tournament's trying to set up with Coach K's last year. They're trying to set up in that second round there, an Izzo versus Coach K game there. That's probably why they probably put them in that same.
I wouldn't mind.
Category. And then go back to the top web. I got Gonzaga beating Memphis. I got Arkansas beating UConn. I got Texas Tech beating Alabama, and I took Duke over Davidson in that next section.
Yes, I agree. Except I just had some other. I had Boise, but yes, Gonzaga advances. Obviously, Arkansas advances, Texas Tech advances, and Duke advances.
And I got Gonzaga and Duke on the next line at the on this.
All right. Well, then you got Gonzaga beating Arkansas, correct?
Yes.
And then Duke
beating Texas Tech.
And then you got Duke. So I actually have Texas Tech beating Duke.
Okay, good. Well, anyway, as a general rule, over the past 30 years I've been in these pools and playing the pools and even running some overtime. As a general rule, I don't take Gonzaga going all the way because they have never won all the way in their existence. So therefore,
they got one, don't they?
No, I think they've never won one. They made it to the final last year.
I thought
they've been in the Final Four several times, but I don't think they've won.
I know Carolina beat them. I thought they won one.
I don't think they've ever won. So that means think of all the brackets over the years that people jumped on as Gonzaga over the last 30 years that didn't make it through because of the Gonzaga. Although this actually may be the year, as wide open as it is. But I have Duke. I have Duke going to the Final Four. And I will not have them going all the way either because that usually is a sure ruiner of half the pool usually anyway with all the Duke lovers out there.
Yeah. So I got Gonzaga beating Texas Tech. So I got Gonzaga, and you got Duke coming out of the West.
Right. Okay, let's move it on to the South with Arizona up top.
Arizona wins that game, obviously. Seton Hall, nothing to do with the Jersey love. They've been good to us this year, particularly me. Texas, TCU, Big 12, whatever. I just took Seton Hall, 8 beating the 9. I'm a big Houston fan. I love Calvin Sampson, so I got Houston winning the next one. This is going to be a tough game for Illinois. They had their shot last year. I think the big guy, Kofi, got hurt, or Cockburn, whatever his name is, or something happened. But they had a real legitimate shot last year. This year is not last year. Same situation I'm going to bring up with Baylor. I think Michigan sucks. I don't know what they're doing. I'm not a fan of what's his name, the coach. So I took Colorado State, and they've been good to me too. Juwan Howard. They did play better when he was out. The other guy was coaching. Dude from St. Joe's was coaching. Tennessee is looking real impressive. They did not look. I did see him live as well in that same tournament I mentioned all the time up in Connecticut. But the freshman point guard has played, and he's grown, this little guy from Brooklyn. They're good. They're legit, so I got them beaten. Longwood's good. They've been good to me the past couple of weeks. Ohio State, fuck them. I got Loyola Chicago beating them. And Nova, I'm not a fan either, but I got them beating Delaware, obviously.
Yep. I got Arizona, Seton Hall, Big East again. Houston. I did take Illinois in this early rounds, but I did take Michigan. But I see where you're at with Colorado State. Michigan had a terrible year this year. I don't even know why they're in the tournament, to be honest.
Correct.
Tennessee. I took Tennessee. Like I say, I like teams that go all the way in their conference tournament. Tennessee did that.
They look good, man.
I did take Loyola Chicago over Ohio State, another 10-7. And obviously, I'm a Villanova man. I ain't getting Nova knocked out this early. Moving on up, Arizona versus Seton Hall.
I got Arizona winning that one. And then I got Houston and Illinois. Houston's winning that one. Down there, Tennessee, they'll take care of Colorado State. And then Nova beating Loyola Chicago, actually, obviously.
Yeah, so I got Arizona, I got Illinois beating Houston, but that should be a really good game. And then I have Tennessee and Villanova.
All right, so then I got Arizona playing Houston. I got Houston winning that game. And I have Tennessee playing Nova, and I have Tennessee winning that game.
All right, I ended up with Illinois versus Villanova, and Villanova going to the Final Four.
Yep, and I got Houston beating Tennessee. Oh, that's a tough game there. So I got Houston just based on Kelvin Sampson coming out of the South.
All right, moving on to the big Midwest. Starting at the top, Kansas. Like I say, I like teams that win their conference tournament. They're playing good. They've been solid all year. I got Kansas. They don't really have a true point guard, but I saw one interview with Self. He's like, whoever's got the ball brings it up. That's it. Yeah. So that just means they have 4 good ball handlers that can get it done. So I got Kansas. I got Creighton over San Diego State. I got Iowa. I got Providence. I took LSU without Will Wade even. They got the athletes to get it done. Wisconsin. I took Miami over USC. USC's let me down a lot this year on some of those games, and I took Auburn.
Kansas, obviously, their defense is good too. They're good. They're hot. I took San Diego State over Creighton just to kind of pick something obscure. Iowa was hot. I think they cooled off. I don't know how. I mean, they should. 12 do beat 5. And Richmond's been good to me. I'm a Richmond Spider guy, but I did take Iowa. I got Providence. They were good to us this year too. I went Iowa State. I think I don't know what's going on with LSU. You fired a coach now, which I didn't understand. And then Wisconsin's good. I mean, they seem to have all these same little kind of whatever they're eating, cheese eating motherfuckers that are up pretty good that could shoot. And they're also tough. So I got them. USC Miami's tough. I did go with USC just to, I really couldn't tell you why, to be honest with you. I could have went either way. And then Auburn obviously is going to beat Jackson State.
Yep. Moving back up, I got Kansas beating Creighton. I got actually Providence knocking off Iowa. And I have a couple of upsets in here. LSU beating Wisconsin, but it's 6-3 and 5-4, so anything at that point can happen. LSU beating Wisconsin and Auburn moving on to the final. I guess that would be final 8 or something at that point.
Yeah, so I got Kansas beating San Diego State.
Sweet 16, I guess, at that point.
Right. I did have Iowa. I mean, that's a tough game, Iowa Providence. That's a really even game. That's a 4 versus 5 matchup that I have. I wouldn't be surprised to see Providence, but I took Iowa just based off of how hot they were recently. But they scored like 112 points in that game, and that's a shit ton of points. Wisconsin's going to win, and then I got Auburn beating USC. So they're.
Right. Moving on. I got Kansas taking on Auburn. Is my
All right,
last.
so who do you have?
two there.
Kansas beating who? Kansas beating
I have
Providence?
Kansas beating Providence.
All right, so I got Kansas beating Iowa. Okay, go ahead.
And I have Auburn beating LSU.
All right, then you call me a homer. You got LSU going that far. I got Wisconsin beating Auburn, and then Kansas beating Wisconsin. So I got Kansas beating Wisconsin. So Kansas coming out of the Midwest.
Yep, and I have Kansas going to the Final Four. So let's move it on. So I got the Final Four, Webb. I got Duke takes on Kentucky, and Villanova takes on Kansas.
Duke can't take on Kentucky, can they?
Yes, they can. That's how it works.
Who's okay? I got Gonzaga. Oh, that's Duke. Which bracket is Duke?
Duke is coming out of Gonzaga's bracket.
Okay, so I got Gonzaga there, and then Purdue underneath. That's Kentucky's bracket. So I got Gonzaga, Purdue, and I got Houston, Kansas on the other side.
Yep. Oh, Nova, Kansas. All right, Houston. That's good. That's good. All right, and then who do you have, Webb, as your final two?
Gonzaga and Kansas.
All right, I got Kentucky and Kansas as my final two, and I had a winner picked last night, and then I started watching some shit and looking at some stuff, and then I switched it in the middle of the night. I had Rock. I was all set to say Rock Chalk Jayhawk or whatever the Rock Chalk Jayhawk, but instead, Webb, it's going to be where am I going the first week in May?
No, you're going to Kentucky Derby, baby.
That's right. Go Big Blue.
There
Kentucky all the way, buddy. I don't know what they say. I don't know what they do, but that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Kentucky spring for me. It's going to be a Kentucky bluegrass spring for me. That's what it's going to be.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. But I did take Gonzaga over Kansas in the final. And Gonzaga, you saying Gonzaga's never won, even more so, I think. I mean, they're going to win one of these years, and this is maybe year. They got the freshman. The kid is huge. I don't know how big he is. Chet Holmgren, his name is. From Minnesota. He's just a ridiculous mismatch. And then Auburn's got a big guy, transfer from Carolina, this kid Walter Kessler. He's a real tough matchup too. So Auburn, but I'm not a big Bruce Pearl fan. I don't think he can get it done when he gets to that level. But anyways, I got Gonzaga beating Kansas, 144 points.
All right, I got 151 points, and I got Kentucky over Kansas. But I took Kansas. I was all in. I was like, cool. They won the conference tournament. They playing good, all this stuff. But then I watched a little Calipari interview last night, and he was really disappointed that they didn't do a shoot around. They said before he went against his gut and didn't do a shoot around before the Tennessee game, and they came out ice cold.
Oh wow!
And they almost made a game out of it, but didn't get it done that day. So anyway. There it is, Kentucky. And for me and Gonzaga for Webb. Last year, I think we might have had the same teams or maybe something.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, it's never – I mean, I got a 5, a 3, and then 2-1, so it's not like I went all chalk. Gonzaga's good. I understand they don't play anybody, but that's it's not their first rodeo in this environment. Purdue, I guess I'm a little biased because I saw them play live, and they look really good in person. Houston, I love Kelvin Sampson. And Kansas, I mean, they're hot and they're playing well. And that's it seems to be those brackets may be a little bit easier. If I had Kentucky or Tennessee's tough too for me. And then if I had Kentucky in another bracket or maybe even Arkansas, I might have went somewhere else.
I was really surprised that Tennessee, with the run they made in the SEC tournament, to end up with a 3 seed.
Yeah, they got
those teams. I thought that was a little bit of a hose. And I'm not usually big on the seedings. I'm a listen. You got to play everybody anyway, guy. But a 2 seeding is an advantage over a 3 seeding.
No doubt. Yeah, that's the one. I mean, of all everything, I think that was one. Yeah. That I mean, Carolina could. I'm a Carolina. Obviously, they got based on some of the other teams with their records, but it's fine. It's no big deal. It is what it is.
And I was surprised A&M with the run they had in the SEC tournament didn't even make it in at all. And Virginia Tech won the ACC tournament. I think they're like an 11 seed or something like that. So that's usually I'm not much into the seeds, but those were a couple of things that stood out to me as just a little off.
Well, it's funny. I mean, I think if they hadn't won that game, and not even that, if it hadn't been Duke, let's say if someone else, it was an upset in the other side of the ACC tournament, I'm talking. And even if they didn't win that game and they didn't beat, I guess Duke would probably be the only team that was ranked that high. Virginia Tech wouldn't even be in. Even if they played Miami or some other lower team made a miracle run to the final and Virginia Tech even won, that I don't think they'd be in. So that hurt teams like A&M.
Right. So there it is. There's the brackets. People get in the tournament. Tell some friends. Get them to like our page. Like and subscribe. That's all you got to do. Listen to Devin. She'll be on here in a second, letting you know what to do to our YouTube page. And just everyone come on. And the prize money. Thank you, Wilbur Investigations. Thank you, MN3 Technologies and Nick Perrone. Thank you, the Buffalo Grill in Little Rock, Arkansas. And everybody else who contributes. Everybody, hey, I saw a picture with some of our boys. They both had matching sweatshirts on the other day. They showed up.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Jeff Plasinski and they Reed, and they showed up and they had both had one had the blue, one had the gray sweatshirts. Right. We got all
get some swag, people. Get some swag.
So that's how we pay for this stuff, and we appreciate it. And thank you. Enjoy the brackets. We'll be back next week with our breakdown of the first round, and enjoy it. It's one of the greatest time of the year. Webb, take us out.
March Madness, baby. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Devin's going to let you know about YouTube. Let's go. We need likes, subscribers, and it's time to blow this thing up. We keep saying it. Brick by brick, baby. Everyone get in. Free money, once again, from the Wager Makers podcast. Free money. And you're welcome.
Hey guys, it's Devin. Make sure you subscribe to the Wager Makers podcast on YouTube, like all their videos, and click that bell so that you turn on your post notifications and you never miss another video.
Welcome to the Wager Makers podcast with Web and Smitt.
Yeah. Hey, shout out Wager Maker podcast.
Brick by brick, baby.
Yeah.
Here comes the Wager Maker
Here I go.
Express.
I hear y'all sick of losing money cause y'all don't know how to bet. Better hit that Wager Maker podcast with Smitt and Webb. They gon' show y'all how to do this. Take these notes like y'all some students. Y'all can't seem to pick them right. Well, tonight y'all lucky night. It's that Wager Maker podcast. Wager Maker podcast. Wager Maker podcast. Your bookie getting sick cause we built this brick by brick. It's that Wager Maker podcast. It's that Wager Maker podcast. It's that Wager Maker podcast. Come and place your bets with that WM Express. Let's go.